No, but then now they're gone for an extended amount of time as opposed to something that they could have come back from in weeks. Rashford is gone for months.
So that's on him. That's on him.
Take him out.
That's on him.
I don't care.
Who there?
Anyone. You've got 7 men on the bench.
Do you really want?
Welcome back to the MVP podcast, and it's looking kind of cramped out here, cuz. It's looking cramped. How you guys doing, man?
Good. I feel like I'm on an EasyJet flight right now.
He's reliving that Porto trip real quick. Okay, we might as well just get into it because we don't have that much time, right? We've got a dominant Man United situation right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one guy that's non-existent.
I'm the odd man out.
He's non-existent. Chelsea supporters are all racist. Still racist.
Don't make me do my chant. I'll do my chant. Don't make me do my chant.
I want to hear you. I've never heard you chant.
You'll hear it when we finish.
Okay. Anyway, guys, I've had a lot of, I was really irritated at the start of the week. I was really, really irritated at the start of the week.
I know, I could feel it on the phone.
We're not necessarily talking about Man United as a team. I'm sorry, but they are trash. It is what it is.
6-0 today. Where you going?
They're trash, bro. What was that? Tranmere. Man like Maguire scored a goal. Let's not have a
Phil
conversation.
Jones scored a goal.
Phil Jones.
That's how
You know that's his first goal in almost 6 years.
2,150 days.
Yeah, let's not forget.
Be better than Jesse Lingard, isn't it? Come on.
Jesse Lingard's got a goal.
Jesse's scored a goal as well.
He's a
Sorry,
young prospect coming through the rankings,
Jesse
mate.
could have had a hat.
Remember, guys, not at the same time because then it's just way too many sounds get picked up, right? But it was after the Liverpool game, boys. It was after the Liverpool game. Pogba's injured. The guy's out, and then you had some idiot on TV talking about how Pogba is not the right guy in the locker room or the changing room, and he should be more like Adam Lallana, Henderson, these guys. No. Like, where do you go having to mention this guy when he wasn't even involved in the game?
You're listening to a guy like Jason McAteer, man. No one listens to that guy, bro.
Bro, it was all over Twitter, man.
Nobody listens to that guy.
It was all over Twitter, man.
No one was in support of it, though, was it?
Now, there is a few people that have come out in support, but not the right people. Like, Jason McAteer, though, the cheek to say Adam Lallana, Henderson. What else did he say? Milner.
Yeah.
What have they done?
Now, do you know what I mean? This guy's a World Cup winner. Been to a Euros final. Won 3 or 4 Serie A's, 1 Cups. And you want to be like Jordan Henderson and Adam Lallana. And apparently the kids look up to them in Liverpool. Why don't you just come out and say how it is? I don't like him. He's a young black Muslim guy. I don't like him. Say how it is. No, honestly, say how it is. Why lie? Say how it is. You don't like him because he's a black guy that's flashy, that's confident in what he does. And what's you tell me, a central midfielder, last year in terms of Man United stats, he was top goal scorer, top assist, top creation. He basically finished number 1 in every stat for Man United. So basically, that's basically saying, I've done my job, what have the rest done, what has the manager done? So why don't they just come out with it and say it how it is? Graham Souness, all these guys, come out and say how it is. We just don't like him, we think he's too flash and his colour plays a part.
I agree.
That's my opinion.
I agree with Weezy. Like, to take it back to boxing, it's like, look at Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Like, okay, Mayweather made all that money, but how much love does he get?
Not many.
Not much love. Because he's a black guy, he talks rubbish, he flashes his cash.
He's loud.
He's loud. McGregor's the same thing, just a different skin tone.
And people
love him.
They both had legal battles without getting into it. So you can't even say, they can hold that against Mayweather. They both had something.
They both got very similar attitudes and lifestyles and just everything, and they go about the game the same way. But it's just, if it's not colour, what is it?
I don't really want to push the whole colour agenda. Personally, I don't want to push it too much. But there was one years ago, Jose Mourinho was at Chelsea. You can testify on this.
Testify.
Steven Gerrard said that he wanted to leave Liverpool. Put in the transfer request. I have never ever in my life heard anyone speak a bad thing about that moment where he literally quit on the team.
I forgot about that.
Never heard anyone say that. Remember we did a pod not like last year about Sterling.
Mm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that was when I was actually vexed. That was the one that caught me completely off guard because there were two articles right next to each other. One was this young Foden buys a house for his mother. Lovely gesture. Sterling.
It was two kids in the youth academy that did that.
It was.
So one was black, one was white, and they had two different articles from the same publication.
The one that upset me was the Paul Scholes one. Because I love Paul Scholes. Like, one of my favourite players ever. But then back in the day, he refused to travel with the team because he weren't starting or something. And, like, he was kicking off with Fergie. But then I think this week or last week he came out with something like, "Oh, Pogba should be with the team because when he's injured," just stuff like that.
It's quite contradictory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like obviously we're all hypocrites to an extent, everyone. But when you've got a public platform, and you're talking about a young guy with a family and everything, like, you need to be more careful what you say. Because you got millions of people with social media who give these guys abuse and do this, and and it's just a horrible world to live in.
Media has a part to play in it, but at the same time, the club haven't done anything to help the player and protect him.
Maybe in fairness, he hadn't done anything to help himself as well.
Yeah, but you say the club, but the club's a mess. Like, the owner's a mess. Yeah. The I don't know what you call that. I don't know. The commercial finance. I don't
Chief
know.
executive.
I don't know what the hell he is.
Head clown.
He's a clown, but he's a mess. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a fan of Raiola, but what has he said that's wrong? Man United ruined players. Rashford, dead. We ruined Martial. Where, like, people are cussing off Dan James.
Man United,
I disagree with you there, Weezy.
I have an issue with that. He has no right.
I agree.
He's got every right. He's not got no right to express it how he's expressed it. But let's get to the basis of it. What he said is true.
No, that's different.
Man United have got
He
no
has
ambition.
no loyalty to any football team.
Yeah, Man United he's got no
loyal
loyalty.
to Pogba.
But,
he's loyal to his players.
Okay, but the bottom line is, when he said Man United have got no ambition, they don't function like a top club. Where's the lies in? And there's no lies in any of that. It's true. What he said is true.
It's true.
But he's okay because he's blunt with it. I prefer him to someone like McAteer, to someone like Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, all these guys. They need to come out and say, "Your boy Ole's not doing a job. What he's doing is atrocious." Like, let's not lie about it.
The problems are bigger than Ole, though.
But
The problem are bigger than Ole. But you're not saying the problem are bigger than Ole. So Burnley, Watford, Bournemouth, West Ham, Crystal Palace. These are games that Ole should win with the squad he's got. So the problem is bigger than Ole. But at the same time,
Ole, as well, bro.
No. You telling me that Burnley, who play Route 1 football, anybody who knows what they're doing, that should come to Old Trafford and beat you 2-0 and 2-0 convincingly, where their goalkeeper, I don't even know how he got man of the match. What the hell did you do to get man of the match?
Surely, like, look, if you go 1-0 down to Burnley, something ticks in your head as a player that, look, this is wrong, I need to attack. Mate, Man United give up so easily.
Yeah, but who's that on?
That's down to the manager. That's man manager.
Lads, one at a time. Lads, one at a time.
Do you really think that's down to the manager?
No, but that is down to the manager, because you know what it is, Danny, yeah? Look at the teams he's lost to. Do you know what it is, yeah? Do you know what it shows me, yeah? The fact that, okay, they were competitive against Liverpool. Like, technically, that game for Liverpool, they lost 1-0. Okay, Salah scored in the last minute. They were chasing the goal. They were competitive. They were competitive against Man City. Arsenal's a bottom half team, so they're all right to lose to Arsenal anyway. Yeah, but listen, they beat Chelsea and they beat Man City. So you're telling me that means you don't do no work, because you know why? Your boys can get out for the big games. Was
it Martial who, bitches skied the ball against Burnley?
No,
was that Liverpool game?
Liverpool, sorry, 7 yards out.
He had a chance against Burnley. Okay, but that is down to the players at the same time. But the manager's tactics. Change your tactics. Do something. I don't know.
But what does he do with that squad? There's not a lot you can get out of them.
There's no.
You've seen this. There's no depth. They've lost Rashford.
Can I ask?
Before you speak,
I'm just
going to say one thing. Yeah, you're like saying the squad. There's no depth. There's nothing. What Sheffield United then? Sheffield United are high flying.
This is what I was going to ask. Going back to the Pogba point, because Pogba is disinterested in playing for a team that has lacking ambition, but he's not going to go out and say it. That's why Riola's saying it. Would a change in manager change his opinion, or do you reckon it'll be a case of he'll give that person a chance if they were to get a new manager in at this moment?
I genuinely don't think Pep Guardiola would get this team any further. It's more than the manager. Listen, I've been saying that all season. I've been saying last season. It's more than the manager.
No, Man United is a rebuilding club. They're a rebuilding team, yeah. So
they've been rebuilding for 7 years.
Listen, okay, they are rebuilding for 7 years, but you forget, like Nas said, yeah, we've got Edward at the helm, so we'll probably be rebuilding for another 7 years.
But then you say that about Edward.
Pogba's not got the time. Pogba, in his best interest for his own career, he's 26 years old. He's got Euros coming up. If I'm him and Marcus Rashford, I'm not coming back for this season. I'm sitting the season out, yeah, and I'm preparing myself for the Euros. And then in the summer, I'm leaving because I'm ready to win. If you're Marcus Rashford, or even jumping on from Pogba to Rashford, if you're Marcus Rashford now, look at your career. You're 20. You're coming up to 24 years old. You want to leave Man United. Man United are not ready to win. We're not going to be ready to win for another 7 to 10 years. Let's be realistic.
It's bricks with no cement.
Yeah,
the rebuild is not. It's not a proper rebuild.
It's not a proper rebuild.
They're just trying to put bricks together.
Even if they get Poch will take 4 or 5 years to get the team he wants. I don't know if he'll get that time.
No one will get that time.
Look at Klopp. It took Klopp 3-4 years.
Yeah, you've got to give him time as well. At the same time, I'm not saying give Ole 4 years.
But there's no. With Klopp.
I'm tired of people saying time. Do you know who you give time to? A team that you can see slowly ascending. Even if it's extremely slowly.
Yes.
I want to see some type of improvement, right? Like you guys said, it's bigger than Ole. But at the same time, Ole is not doing himself any favors because this team actually looks worse now than it did last year. So how are you telling me that if there was any change in Ed Woodward or at the top, that this guy is still the guy that can get the best out of them? He's got no tactic. He's got no philosophy.
Rashford's improved.
Yeah, but that's as an individual. They are, regardless, he's playing every week. They are going to improve regardless. But the argument is, as a team, they're not playing better. So I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that.
How's Rashford improved? I think Rashford's just freestyling.
He probably is, but he's scoring.
Rashford's just putting the ball in the net a bit more.
Freestyling.
Is it fair to blame it on him when the team lacked midfielders last year? And then they went and sold a midfielder and lost their best midfielder to injury, and they lost their second best in McTominay to injury as well. The team is fundamentally lacking so many midfielders. Is it fair to put that on the manager?
Yeah.
On the manager?
110%. You know why? He rushes these players back. Yeah. Pogba.
No, but I mean, I don't. As in, they needed to.
Can I ask you a question? What game did Pogba get injured against? Was it Wickham? In the Carling Cup.
Yeah, it was. It rushed him back. No, I agree.
Why is Pogba playing at Old Trafford against Wickham?
I agree.
Yeah, and McTominay...
Because he can't win a Premier League game and he's confident.
McTominay did his knee.
And Rashford got rushed in.
He came out and he said he feels a pain in his knee.
Mm-hmm.
Straight away, you take him off. Ollie continued using it for another 20-25 minutes.
But he hasn't got players. He hasn't got players.
They were so easy before the season started.
Players, bro. You can't do that.
Bro, sometimes you got to put square pegs in round holes, bro.
Yeah, but bro, look at what happened.
He hasn't got players.
Okay, bro, but then now they're gone for an extended amount of time as opposed to something that they could have come back from in weeks. Rashford is gone for months.
So
that's on him.
Take him out.
That's on him.
I don't care.
Who there?
Anyone. You've got 7 men on the bench. Anyone.
Mason Greenwood.
Anyone. It doesn't even need to be a striker. Anybody will do. You cannot have a player that's injured on the pitch. But then if you make it worse, you aggravate it.
If they don't win, if they're not winning though with those people that you put in, we're still going to be giving him criticism. It's not like he's going to get any favors from.
Yeah, but I would much rather criticize him for taking off Rashford if we didn't realize that he was injured, but then see him the next week than for us to find out the next day that the brother's gone for 2 months.
And then the worst thing is to find out that this is a back pain that he's known, and apparently the guy he did a Sky interview where he couldn't even sit down, and Man United have known about this. And then Ole to come out and say, actually, I've known about this, and then to later on to backtrack and say, actually, no, we weren't.
That is on them.
So there's a lot of things. Ole does not help himself here. Ole, in this whole regime, he needs to actually speak up for himself and say, yo, 1 minute I've got the money, next minute I don't have the money. So do you know what I mean? He's like this. Every Man United fan is against this regime, but Ole's the bigger supporter of this regime. So that's for me. That's why Ole gets no backing.
And guys, go on.
I don't think he's a supporter. I just think he's stuck where he is. Like he don't want to turn his back on the club.
This continue.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're gonna have to put a stop to it there, guys. Man, I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all for coming out, guys. Please like, share, subscribe. Wheezy, let it go, let it go. And we're gonna be back again soon.
I want to hear the chant.
Oh, go on, say the chant real quick.
B-man be acting up, B-man be acting up, B-man be acting up, and so Sir be letting it, and Danny be letting it, and Naeem be letting it, and Nazi be letting it, and Weezy be letting it. Hey!
Be acting up.